Welcome to Coffee with Viking. I am Mike. Cheers. Crying time. Jeremiah 9:1. If only my head were a pool of water, and my eyes a fountain of tears, I would weep day and night for all my people who have been slaughtered. Jeremiah's nickname, the Weeping Prophet, it's not only because he cries, and with good reason, and Jeremiah was living proof and still is when you read this, that real men do cry when the time is right, when the moments are right. It is okay to cry even if you're a man. It's also because he's credited with writing the saddest book in the Bible, Lamentations. This is a horrifying eyewitness account of the siege and sack of Jerusalem, with starving Jewish mothers cooking their own children for food. Knowing what lies ahead for his people, Jeremiah cries out to God. There's no point in praying for deliverance. God has already told him not to bother. The nation has chosen its fate. So Jeremiah pours out his pain. Oh, how I hurt, how I hurt. I am bent over in pain. Oh, the torture in my heart. My heart is pounding inside me. Jeremiah, and that's in Jeremiah 4:19. When God called young Jeremiah as a prophet, God said Jeremiah was born for this mission. That's why it's so shocking to hear Jeremiah say, I curse the day I was born. I curse the messenger who told my father, good news, you have a son. Oh that I had died in my mother's womb, that her body had been my grave. And that'll be in Jeremiah 20, chapters 14 and 15 and 17. Yet that's how hopeless he feels, O Holocaust. It's coming, and there is nothing he can do to stop it. Jeremiah chapter 20, 14 and 15. Cursed be the day wherein I was born. Let not the day wherein my mother bare me be blessed. Cursed be the man who brought tidings to my father, saying, a man-child is born unto thee, making him very glad. Chapter 20, verse 17. Because he slew me not from the womb, or that my mother might have been my grave, in her womb to be always great with me. The pain Jeremiah went through was the fact he was called in to prophesy about what was going to happen to Jerusalem because of them turning from God. And I wouldn't want that pressure either. To have to know what's going on, have no one listening, and then have to be an eyewitness to everything that you knew was coming before it came. There's a reason he was the weeping prophet. It's because he knew the sufferings that were going to come to his people. This is one of the reasons Jeremiah is one of my favorites because in a lot of ways, some days I feel like him, like, why am I even here, you know? And I think we all go through that. There's a lot of realism to that deep depression he was going through. Of course, with him, it's different than any of us. It's because he knew what was coming. He knew what was going to happen to his people. He knew what was going to happen to Jerusalem. And he didn't want that burden. But he didn't argue with God either. He was called and he knew that. And he still did as God wanted him to. Even if it's an uncomfortable job God's asking us to do, we should always do it. And Jeremiah knew this. As hard as it was, as heartbreaking as it was to him, he still did it. He still lived his life as one of the biggest prophets that we know of in the Bible. And on this side note, it says acting out prophecies. Like Isaiah and Ezekiel, Jeremiah acted out some of his prophecies. It made a bigger impression, and it helped people remember what he said. And here's the acts that Jeremiah did to God's message. The first one, Jeremiah hid a linen belt in a hole until the cloth rotted. God's message with that, this shows how I will rot away the pride of Judah and Jerusalem. And that's Jeremiah 13:9. Jeremiah 13:9. Thus saith the Lord, after this manner will I mar the pride of Judah and the great pride of Jerusalem. He didn't marry. Something else we have in common. Families in Jerusalem will die, and no one will mourn for them or bury them. Jeremiah 16:4. Jeremiah 16:4. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. He didn't go to parties. Something else we got in common. In your own lifetime, I will put an end to the happy singing and laughter in this land. Jeremiah 16:9. Jeremiah 16:9. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will cause to cease out of this palace in your eyes and in your days the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride. He bought a clay jar and shattered it in front of the city leaders. As this jar lies shattered, so I will shatter the people of Judah and Jerusalem beyond all hope of repair. Jeremiah 19:11. Jeremiah 19:11. And shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, even so will I break this people in this city, as one breaketh a potter's vessel that cannot be made whole again, and they shall bury them in Tophet till there be no place to bury. And the last one here says, with Babylonian invaders surrounding Jerusalem, he bought a nearby plot of land. Someday people will again own property here in this land and will buy and sell houses and vineyards and fields. Jeremiah 32:15. Jeremiah 32:15. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, houses and fields and vineyards shall be possessed again in this land. So God had a plan when he was going to tear down Jerusalem. He was weeding out all the darkness, all the sin, and he had a plan to rebuild it again. This time with it being more of people coming to him. And it sounds like something else that is getting closer to taking place, which we all know the end times are coming. We are going to pretty much be in these times that Jeremiah was prophesying about with the fall of Jerusalem. Only this time it's going to be much bigger. It's going to be the fall of the entire world, where evil will rise for a short while, but it will feel like an eternity, where God will be completely banned and not by choice. Because if you choose to follow God, that is a death sentence, but it's one I'm ready to take. Because the outcome of what will happen when that time period's over, I don't want to be a part of. But what was going on in Jeremiah's time with the fall of Jerusalem, it makes me think about what's about to come to this world. When after a 7-year period of true hell on earth, God will come back and lead us for that 1,000 years of peace. I love you all, and I hope to see you all at the Christ dinner table when that time comes. Stay blessed, stay caffeinated. Much love.